Tech is getting wild, and if you're like me, you've been following the news, and layoffs are just happening across the board. Google lays off 12,000, Microsoft 10,000, Meta 11,000, and Amazon 18,000. Laying off employees is a harsh reality in today's workplace, and it seems to be happening way more frequently. I've been at Amazon for 2 years working as an L5 front-end engineer, and I joined during the hiring frenzy when the Amazon stock was at an all-time high. So what does that mean for someone like me? Am I predicting my own demise?
What?
Luckily, as of right now, I am safe, and if anything, I've been a lot more busier with the type of projects that I'm working on. Let me tell you how I would approach layoffs and or getting fired, and how it can help you be better prepared for your career. A lot of people believe that layoffs can only happen to those that are not performing well at their job. I saw this video on TikTok about a laid off Google employee that showed a before and after day in the live videos, and the comments were pretty brutal. People were saying that she wasn't doing her job and no wonder she got laid off because all she was doing was recording in the workplace. In my opinion, this is just a snapshot of someone's life and social media in a nutshell. We don't really know what happens behind the scenes, so I'm going to defer my judgment on what this person did at their job. The original point I wanted to make is that layoffs can happen to anyone, no matter how smart or competent you are. Generally, mass layoffs happen like this when companies make poor business decisions. In this case, a lot of companies thought that growth was going to keep continuing, and to match that growth, you need to hire a lot more employees. Unfortunately, this led to the opposite effect, where changes in the market occurred and companies need to really reevaluate their financial situations. So point number one is that anyone can get laid off, and it's not a reflection of your skill set or worth as an individual, so don't beat yourself up too much over it if you've been impacted. The second point I wanted to make is that even though you don't have a lot of control over layoffs, what might help you in the long run is being part of a team that makes impact. Amazon was not immune to layoffs. Again, 18,000 jobs were cut. But if you dive deeper into these articles, you'll notice that it happened to specific departments. In this case, the job cuts affected the devices and services department. This included products like Alexa and its Echo smart home devices. Projects also included video calling devices and telehealth services. I'm not gonna lie, Amazon's a really big company, and I didn't even know we had a video calling device specifically for kids, let alone a telehealth service. So what does that really mean? Am I just really lucky that I wasn't part of these departments? Maybe. And it's really hard to say what team is more important than the other, but it seems like there was a line drawn in this case. The team I'm on is advertising, specifically video advertising, and I found this article that said that Amazon's advertising business grew 19%. It even mentions that although that it's a small fraction in the whole revenue, it represents a fast-growing area that analysts believe could be a crucial player in the digital advertising market. I can't really go into details about all the things that I'm working on, but I can say that the projects that I'm working on are very, very cool, but also very, very challenging. But if successful, I know that it could have a lot of impact and can probably contribute to the overall revenue that Amazon generates. And reading articles like this and being in the advertising department, that's really good for me in terms of job security. Hopefully, this is a department that Amazon believes will have a big impact. So at times, it's not just about how well you do your job, but it's about the team that you're in and what kind of impact your department is making collectively. Keep in mind, if you do see the writing on the wall, and this is where you have to do your research, figure out, is there another way that I can join a higher impact team through internal transfer? Or worst case scenario, you need to start passively looking for new opportunities. So definitely being part of a high impact team will be really helpful for you in terms of job security, but again, no guarantees. Hey, before I go on to the next advice, if you like content like this, I highly recommend you to hit that like and subscribe so you can stay up to date whenever I post. All right, let's move on to the next one. So now that we acknowledge that anyone could get laid off and you could take preventative measures to not get laid off, what happens if this has personally affected you already? I would suggest you to have a great support system around you that will help you get through these difficult times. Not gonna lie, not gonna sugarcoat it, it's going to suck, but having great friends around you to be there for you, keep your spirits up is going to be super important to help you overcome this job loss. If you are a designer, developer, PM, you could also join an online community through Twitter Spaces, share what you've learned, talk about the stresses. I think Twitter Spaces have been a really good source of building community, so definitely you could try to find a community there. Hopefully you have a emergency fund, but if not, try to live below your means while you're job searching again. This is going to sting when I say this, but it also may be a blessing in disguise. I've went through some difficult times myself, and at that moment, it just didn't make sense. Why did this happen to me? I've worked so hard. This is not fair. But after a couple years, I look at those times and I realize that this was something that pushed me to be a better version of myself. Sometimes you become stagnant in your own career or your life where unless you have these really shocking moments, you're not going to make progress. So in the moment, it's going to be difficult, but I can assure you maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you're going to look back at these moments and say, wow, I really needed that push. So again, have a good support system around you. It's going to be super important. The last thing I want to talk about is that your career does not define you. Look, losing a job sucks and it can be super disheartening. I've heard this saying a while back and it really does sound cliche, but it's so true. Work is just business and it's nothing personal. There's no concept of a family in a workplace. You can be very professional, you could be very nice to each other, you could grab a few drinks during happy hour. But at the end of the day, that is what it is. It is a professional workspace where you're responsible to get a lot of things done and you get paid for it. I followed this mantra for a while now, and I feel that a lot of people now are coming to the same conclusion because of these mass layoffs. And it's not just even about mass layoffs, but it's just the way that it happened. People are just getting these emails without any personal touch to why they were let go. And I think people are starting to realize that they are just a number and this is just a job. This is just a paycheck. Nothing else, nothing more. And once you come to that realization, it's kind of refreshing, to be honest, being on this side. Again, I don't ever wish to get laid off, but if it does happen to me, yeah, it's going to really, really suck. But at the same time, I really don't feel like I had this huge personal connection to feel like Amazon was going to be my be-all, end-all. I just know that this is a job and hopefully I can do well and I can perform. If things don't go my way, then it is what it is. So it just makes it so much easier to move on and look for that next company. For me, what is important in my life is my partner, my friends, my family. Without those three, to be honest, I would trade everything in the world for them because the job doesn't really define who you are. The career doesn't define who you really are. It's who you are personally that defines who you are. But so again, don't let your career define you, and you getting let go doesn't mean anything less about yourself. So yes, even though these layoffs do suck, I highly would recommend that you not let it consume you and say that I am a failure if you are part of these layoffs, because you are so much more than that. And I can assure you that if you work at these companies or if you work at a company that went through layoffs, you will find another job. Be on the lookout and I'm sure good things will come. I hope that these ideas and tips were helpful for you. If you made it this far, thank you, and feel free to like and subscribe. I'll see you later.